sideways. Hell, I got a guy for every damn thing. Exactly what I'm looking for, cause I'm looking for someone to put the time back in the drive. And if they don't, then I just ride. Look what took the mind of a life. I'm damn near down to my last stop. I'm pretty good at breaking down hard, but picking up the pieces is the hard part. She's searching for someone who's gonna build it back. But I ain't got a guy for that. 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 Lord, be I pay up at MIT, and if they don't let me fly the time machine, someone to turn back their hands on my new AP. But buddy, what I really need is someone who can drive, and if they don't, then I'm just fine. Let them damn it down to my last. I'm pretty good at breaking down, but picking up pieces is a hard part. She's searching for someone who's gonna build it back. But I ain't got a guy for that. Ain't got a guy for that. Ain't got a guy for that. Ain't got a guy. I ain't got a guy for that. Ain't got a guy for that. Ain't got a guy for that. Ain't got a guy. I ain't got a guy for that.
All right, welcome everybody. Tonight's 1% Tribe. It's good to see you all. Getting off of our awesome couple back-to-back interviews, which is amazing. So if you're interested in the audio side, especially, we'll be having these in repeat as well on the audio if you like listening to that versus having a video, as you go. One of the things you can do is I'll put it in the Facebook. I'll try to in some of these lives. I wonder if I have a chat on this guy. No, I don't. All right. Oh, well, I got this chat, but it doesn't work. So if you go to for the recordings of it, because I think my favorite passion is not necessarily the video part, but I love the podcasting. It seems so simple, just to get information out there. We do a few other different ones. I do one throughout the week of a nice little podcast, but it's called The Prize Inside. So you'll see a little icon. Oh, I could do that. Let me look that up real quick. So let me go to, it was there. It was just there. Where are we? Okay. If you go, so it looks like this. So if you go in, it looks like, hopefully it'll show up on there, The Prize Inside. And what it is I've been doing this for a long time. A lot of people, I don't really bring it up that much because it's just one of those passions that I hope, in the future may take off, but it's not one that I want it to happen naturally. Let's just say that. Let's say I get good at it, and maybe somebody will enjoy that stuff. So The Prize Inside, it's a chiropractor's journey in discovering everyday people's extraordinary potential. And so what I've been doing is putting the 1% Tribe stuff in there as recordings as like a side thing. And then a lot of times those interviews you've heard on the 1% Tribe, they've really lined up doing the interview right here on Sunday night, which has been awesome. But sometimes that doesn't work. I have to do like an interview, like at different times. And if you go back, I've interviewed a late music therapist from New Zealand. This is crazy. Like somebody, a chiropractor from somewhere. I have to do some more research on it, but he actually reached out to see if we would have like interview guests like that. So I think that's been cool. I mean, we've had like 2,000 downloads or something. I just got away from it for a while, and now I really want to ramp up. I did and if you know any stories out there, I have a few in my head that I really, really want to get on here so you guys can all like appreciate them as well. But what that looks for is ordinary people doing extraordinary feats. And I always look at the ones that just you just shake your head. You're like, holy smokes, this lady, you know, who knows? She's a janitor at the local school, but she just won the national powerlifting competition. That stuff happens all the time, and we just don't do a lot. So remember the prize inside. It's kind of hooked to our 1% tribe stuff. So we have that. And then I want to show you another thing since I'm here, and I'll redo this. Okay, so we've set a date. So it's going to be September, looks like September 21st. September 21st. It's going to be a Saturday. We are having my first combination. It's called inflammation strategies you can do in your life to change your trajectory. This is a all-day seminar on a Saturday. It goes from 9 to 4. We're super excited about this, getting this rolling. I'm ready for it. I've been studying. I'm kind of an ADD nerd when it comes to this stuff. So a lot of times I'll be like, I don't know if these words are right, but one of the things is we want to get out there. So this will be held at my house. If our numbers are, if it gets too big, I have another option. So if we get too crazy, then we have another option. But if right now think it's at this barn we've set up, it's going to be beautiful. I cannot wait for that. So just to let you know things that are happening in the front. So I will stop share for a second. Excellent. So let's get into the 3 things I found this week. Man, my house smells like pickles. Our cucumbers went nuts, not just a little bit, like Planet of the Apes nuts. Like there's so many, like it's crazy. So what Rachel's been trying, we do in mustard pickles, regular pickles. If you come in to get adjusted, you may get a free cucumber. I'm not even kidding. We've done a few different. I created. Oh, that's another thing I can tell you. Cucumber juice. We found this. Like I was just looking for different ways to use cucumbers because there's a lot of good things out there. And cucumber juice, we have a Vitamix, so I'm spoiled that way. But if you have a juicer of some sort, juicing the cucumber, getting it down. Now it's not a great juice by itself, but what if you have this juice with like a nice yogurt and like some strawberries, or like create a smoothie out of it? In my herbal land, cucumbers are fantastic for lung capacity. There's a lot there, as far as that goes. It's fascinating how God always puts the vegetable or plant exactly how it's used in nature, and a cucumber does kind of look like a lobe of a lung. But I digress. The biggest thing is knowing that if you get adjusted this week, you might end up with a cucumber in your pocket, something like so. Just let you know that. Okay, so there's a new study that came out, which we kind of knew as chiropractors, we know this, but a lot of times it's really good information to know. A study shows that if you have a good walking habit, you reduce the amount of low back pain you have. And a lot of times, some people are really good at this just based on their activity, work, those kind of things. And so you can reduce that back pain pretty well that way. It's the ones that I always concern of, and then should have a regular walking pattern, are people that sit at a desk all day and work on that kind of thing. So just remember that as we go, that walking any amount gets it going. I tell people when they have acute low back, the amount of walking, if they get 30 to 40%, if you walk, you will cut out a 30 to 40% of the pain that you're experiencing there. Okay, so we're gonna go through 3 elements in the world that are really important that they're finding. Okay, taurine. Okay, taurine is found in meats and like organ meats, and they're finding that is really, really good for like anti-aging. Taurine, you can find it as a supplement. It's Taurine, or it's in a lot of your like grass-fed beef, those kind of things. So remember that one. This one's interesting. This one it caught my attention. Ergothioneine. Ergothioneine is an element or an element a part of mushrooms, and that's why they're seeing this crazy good antioxidant capability of mushrooms. I think this is might be the thing that's doing it. That one's really, really good. You can also get a supplementation of that. Um, Remember, you can have like it's kind of rare. All those things are rare, but like even my doctor, the doctor I trained from, she's massively allergic to mushrooms. So you just got to be careful that way. Just make sure you've had them before, that kind of thing. This other one is also in meats and really good grass-fed meats and organ meats. It's called pyrroloquinone. Quinone. Say that 3 times. So once you do, those are 3 elements within those things that actually help with longevity. And so those are things to think about. Taurine has been a supplement for a long time that I've known about that you could really enhance you. So just if like add it to your war chest of like good things for you. Okay. And then this one's kind of cool. Like I didn't think about this one. I've seen this article a couple times and I'm like, all right, I'll wait on it. But then I started reading this one that orange essential acid, or I'm sorry, orange essential oil. Okay, so orange, they make like just out of a regular orange, they make an essential oil. They found a huge improvement on PTSD by just smelling it, right? So that's kind of cool. So they're constantly trying to find, different things to help, especially with PTSD in so many different situations and the stress of the world in general. That that's really cool. So to have this orange essential oil that could help in just actually smelling it. So some people have a good access point to some good essential oils. So try it, see how it goes. Maybe an oil can't, like a scent, going through, especially if you know that PTSD is there. Okay. So those are my 3 this week. So let's get into some carpal tunnel stuff. Just don't forget about that seminar. I'm so excited. Remember, September 21st. And we'll have tickets sold at the office, which will be amazing. So we'll see how many we end up with in our first one and then go from there. Lunch will be provided. It'll be like 9 to 4. So just let you all know that. Okay. So let's go into this. So what we're looking at tonight is we've done this before, but what I wanted to do is go through um, what we can actually do because sometimes I think I over explain things and it doesn't give anybody solutions. Like if I can give you all the anatomy and technology and whatever, like you can know every little nerve, tendon, and everything within the carpal tunnel itself. But how do I get you to understand what is capable when you're having, especially when you're having the issue? So if you're got carpal tunnel or your hands start hurting, you don't really care what natural situation, you want the pain gone. And so that's where, as I go, I like to break down those things so we can understand this. Okay, so this is kind of a crappy picture. I didn't know if I blew it up, it would be like this. But you have this thing called the transverse carpal ligament. And what happens in a hand, we have a natural hand of, it has arches in it, just like your foot does. So the arches of your hand, you actually have a few different arches, but the one that's critical is the one between basically where your thumb pad is and your little the opposite side of your thumb pad. So chiropractors know this very well because of all our hand positioning. However, those two create this one arch. That arch has tendon across the top of it. Now, why do you say carpal tunnel technically can come out there? Well, there's a few different reasons, and we'll go into those. Okay. So this is kind of what we all think of as carpal tunnel. So you see that tendon gets ticked off. And the reason that tendon gets ticked off is bad mechanics, possibly of the wrist. That's where we first would go. But I'm going to argue a few more that are a little more important to make sure that that is happening. But this is typically what we see. And what they do in a carpal tunnel situation is they actually come in and remove the pressure that's around this tendon by essentially rotor-rooting the area. Okay, so they rotor-rooter that out, kind of get a better pathway for that wrist to go through. Okay, so here is the one I wanted to show you. Okay, so before we get into, it's not that carpal tunnel is the incorrect, it's not an incorrect surgery. Okay, so don't underestimate. The reason you see so many failed surgeries, however, is because the mechanics never get fixed. Okay, so the biggest problem is like we have to step back from this one like 10,000 steps and go, okay, why did this happen in the first place? What is occurring there? This tendon that's across there was under some undue pressure that caused it to get bigger by inflammation, by scar tissue, those kind of things. So why, if I just remove that, that doesn't fix the thing that caused the scar tissue or the trauma to get there. Hopefully that makes sense. So what we have to do is kind of mechanically look back at all things. So what I want you to do is, instead of being at the wrist where we want to do, like where this is at, we want to go all the way down where the actual muscles are. So if you can look at these two pictures, you can see these muscles in through here, these muscle tendons and bellies are all the way up by your elbow, right? That what makes your Popeye forearm. And you can see the white stuff that goes through, that's tendon. That's tendon, like little guitar strings that are going all the way to the end of your fingers. So a lot of times when you have mechanical issues, the tendon is not something that like truly lives. Like a muscle does a total action. A tendon is more like a rope, right? A muscle is more like a belt that's like mechanically driven. We run the muscles. The tendons go where the body tells it to go. Okay, so if that makes sense. So it's the adherence, it's the duct tape, it's the, those kind of things. The muscles are the pieces that actually motion it. So a lot of times we find that carpal tunnel is actually mechanical through the muscles not working possibly correctly, all the way into the tendons. And once those tendons start not playing fair in your hand, you flatten out that curve, and then that tendinous sheath gets going pretty good. Okay, so hopefully that makes sense. It's a little more than a wrist problem. Is basically where I'm at. Okay. So this is I think this is just a video. Let me make sure there's no questions. I'm trying to get good at checking all this stuff. Okay. All right, we're good. Okay. So let's run this bad boy.
This AI tool will take your idea and create a complete book, complete with design.
We'll let them do their ads so we don't get in trouble. Okay. There we go. You can see where this video is going. You can see where the situation is. And look how many bones. Just look how many bones are underneath that tendinous sheath. Like if you count them from just here, I don't know if you can see my little marker, but 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. There's 10 bones or more underneath that piece of tendon that's trying to hold this arch of 10 bones. And this video is pretty good. It's kind of showing us all the different. I wanted to just show you a little bit. We don't have to go through the whole thing. Well, there's only like a minute left, so I'll let it run. But you can see how all these different fingers are affected as well. So just keep that in mind as well. So that's essentially the fix. Okay. So you just saw her cut the with scissors.
All my videos and this video is for educational purposes only.
Yes, so are mine. So I agree with him. Okay. So now let's go back. Oh, more. Let's go over here. Okay. So let's go into how and what you can do if you're starting to have these problems. Like that's what tonight's about. Tonight's about actually getting to take a look at like, I could tell you all these things and how to strengthen and all those kind of things. But what is in your toolbox that's super available? The first two are going to be chiropractic adjustments. Okay. And how a chiropractor would approach this. A chiropractor would approach this through several things. There are several different points that nerve that to your hand and your carpal tunnel can be affected. We're going to look at your spine, make sure there's no interferences in the spine somewhere. We don't care where those are as long as they're not causing issues, right? Doesn't have to be necessarily your neck. It could be your upper back, lots of different options. We're going to look also at the mechanics of your shoulder. We're going to look at that, see how that's going, because that could cause some mechanics down the line. We're also going to look at your elbow, and then we're going to look at your wrist. Now, in each one of those, they have bones and they have joints that get altered alignments, misalignments. And our job is to realign those things. And so that's what a chiropractor does. We are essentially trying to realign things so that they're back to where nature intends them to be, and then they can heal up like nature wants to heal up, right? So that's where we're at. So I wanted to show you a couple little snippets of like YouTube videos of somebody getting their getting adjustment. So here we go.
You guys, I wish.
Except for all these ads, I'm sorry. I gotta go. I might have to get the.
When I was rooted.
Okay.
Wrist, hand, and thumb adjustment. Just relax your elbow, relax your wrist.
All right. So that one was pretty cool. So that was basically just that one's pretty I like that one. A lot of people ask like and this is things you can ask your chiropractor like tomorrow. Like if you want them to check some things. A lot of people do. They go, "Hey, is there anything you can do for a hand?" And so we evaluate and check it. Um Not a huge deal for a chiropractic person. In fact, my ultimate dream would be that I do that on everyone from top to bottom. We evaluate every joint of the human body. The only bad thing is some people get disappointed if their alignment is correct. Because once you adjust like a wrist, it feels really good. So you think you have to get it adjusted every time, which is kind of hilarious. So anyway, so sometimes you don't need things to be adjusted, but at the same time, that's kind of what a wrist adjustment looks like. Super simple. We could do that. Okay, so this one I believe is an elbow. So we're gonna do that. So this is another chiropractic one.
Championship chiropractic in Las Vegas. I'm going to be demonstrating a chiropractic adjustment for the radius. Disclaimer alert. This is an instructional video for doctors of chiropractic to improve their extremity adjusting technique and for chiropractic students to learn extremity adjustment radius. Contact just posterior to the radius. What I like to do is put my non-pronate the elbow, take your tissue slab posterior to anterior, and your thrust is going to be in a posterior to anterior direction and lateral to medial. Relax.
Yeah, it's not a great video. I was trying to find something. Sorry about that, but that's what an elbow adjustment looks like. I mean, it's nothing against this. Oh shoot, nothing against this doctor. But, like once you get your elbow adjusted, it's the same thing. You can have a really easy time with that. So understand that there's options, like there's elbow adjust, there's a chiropractic adjustment or solution for every joint of your body typically. So we just have to make sure we're asking, right? So that's a big deal. As the future of chiropractic keeps coming, the reason that I love this so much is that we're able to talk about these things, go above and beyond, utilize that chiropractic other than what you think maybe challenge the chiropractor. I haven't met any chiropractors out there in the world that don't love questions, on what they can do. We're just worried about, us taking a step. I'll give you a story. So, one of the stories that is fascinating to me is when my old chiropractors get around. When they started in chiropractic in, let's say, the 70s and 80s and all those kind of things, they would do fantastic. Now, back then, we would just tell, the chiropractor would just say, all right, you came in for your low back. We're going to evaluate and adjust the rest of your spine. What they found is, though, what was occurring was the patient didn't understand that. So what would happen is this person would come in with low back pain and their doctor may adjust all of their spine. So like their neck, their everything, right? The chiropractor would then go, okay, I did a really good job for you, that kind of thing. And then the person wouldn't tell them, but they were like, man, my back feels great, but I'm so scared of him touching me now because he just did everything, right? So the chiropractors over time have learned, communication is the best policy on this. It's tough. Some people don't want to have certain areas. They just want you to adjust where that area is, and that's respectable. But there's some that want everything. And so a lot of times it's not a bad move to do that for yourself. So just food for thought as you go. This is another thing we offer at the office. This is massage therapy. Now, when we see massage, a lot of times people think, oh my God, it's going to be expensive because we got to do a whole we could do small areas as well. So like 15-minute half hours, not as expensive, easier to get into. So when you're watching this, understand that you can do kind of these kind of things without, committing to an hour and a half massage, like those kind of things. So just let you know that. So this is what a massage would look like at a carpal tunnel.
Then animated explainer videos are the best way to capture attention. In this video, carpaltunnelgadgets.com will teach you how to properly massage your forearms to relieve pain in your carpal tunnel. You can grab a massage oil or lotion.
All right.
This about 10 times.
Yeah. So let me mute this. So basically, if you watch him work, that is the same idea as a massage therapist could do. Now, doing it on yourself, you're not going to get into the therapeutics like I think you would. You're going to be a lot nicer on yourself than a massage therapist would. However, the idea, see where he starts, that forearm. Especially when those hands start hurting. It doesn't make sense to jump at a pain pill when we could do something, because you're going to use those hands for a really long time coming forward, those kind of things. So, all right. So that is that one. Let me go back. Sorry. Okay. So now this is kind of cool. Amy couldn't make it tonight, but this is kind of one of our favorite in the office. It's a technique called gua sha. And gua sha is more of a heavy dutier massage. You don't need as much time on it, but it's a lot more intense. Gua sha is a technique that's been known for hundreds of years. Um, some people call it, there's different tools out there. There's a lot of different techniques that are very specific for different things. Gua sha is a very good old technique that we really, really like. What it does is, over time, scar tissue is what builds up that causes some of these carpal tunnel type issues. The only reason you get scar tissue is bad mechanics over time. And so what gua sha does is get it there a quicker way sometimes, but you actually scrape the scar tissue with a tool away and kind of help that muscle, almost injuring the muscle to help it. And it's fascinating how good it works. It's like blows your mind how effective it is over time. And so if you ever are interested, that stuff, it's fantastic. So here is a video.
This really cute press.
Okay.
Hey guys, Coach Chris with Totally Natural Remedies. I'm here with Desmond Diaz from Massage Pro Medical. He's a sports massage therapist in the Orlando area, and he's going to be helping out today, teaching you guys how to use our gua sha tool on the forearm and wrist.
All right, guys, we're going to be using the S-shaped tool. The nice thing about it is that it has a lot of different contact points. We can use broader surface areas to get to bigger muscular tissues, such as the forearm or quads, or you can use the smaller areas to work on joints and ligaments. So today we're going to use some of the broader points to hit the forearm, and we'll demonstrate it right now. First thing you want to do is make sure you have a oil or lotion or emollient base before you start using this tool. So we're going to have you turn your palm face up. Put a little bit of oil on here just to make sure we have a smooth glide when we're using this tool. And we're going to start right at the top of the forearm and work our way straight down towards the wrist. While using this, you may notice that there is some redness in the area. It's bringing more blood to the surface as we're creating friction to break up any of our adhesions found along the forearm. If you start to notice a little bit of a grittiness or a crunchiness as you're working your way down, those are the adhesions that you're finding, and repeated use as the redness starts to increase will start to make it a little bit smoother. So again, as we're covering this surface, we're starting right from the top of the forearm, working our way all the way down to the wrist. It doesn't take very long before you start to notice a change, and you can just apply this for as long as you need. Once you start to notice a change in your range of motion, you can stop.
Yeah, it's a really cool technique, and Amy is an expert at doing it. It's been years. I got to learn from this one lady named Ann Buffinga. She was the chiropractor I was taking care of at, and she was 95 and still seeing people, which was fantastic. So it's a technique that's been around a really long time. Um, very, very effective. Painful a little bit. Some people think it does not hurt, which is awesome. Amy does it in a way that it's not too painful, but it can be. And this the carpal tunnel in the wrist is not the only place you can use it. There's lots of different areas of muscle injury, so or muscle places you can do. And a lot of these therapies, you're going to know we can do this on a lot. I just want to show you what you can do for the carpal tunnel. Okay, and so the last one is so interesting. I could not find a really good shot, so this will be a pretty cool, pretty quick one. So this is another tool we have at the office. This one's called cold laser. Okay, so cold laser, and we'll do a whole presentation on this at some point. What the idea is the best way I like to describe it. It's using a frequency of healing. So it's almost like a light frequency of healing similar to an ultrasound, but it's less evasive than an ultrasound, and it uses this frequency to allow the cells of the body to increase their activity, which ends up making you feel like it's heating up or something's happening in that area. So cold laser is a phenomenal new add-on that we have at the office that I absolutely love. Want everybody to do it. I don't know if it's possible, but you know, for me, once I got it done on my actual shoulder, so I had a little shoulder issue, almost nothing. Like I would have let it go for a couple days, maybe got adjusted and moved on, right? Well, we were at the seminar, so I decided, all right, well, I'm used to having it hang out for like 3 or 4 days, so why not try and see if it chills it out. I swear within an hour, it was like you could definitely feel a big difference. So this is what the cold laser looks like, or treatment by that looks like. It's a very quick little one. So let's go back. So what happens is like I'll just show you from here. So the laser, we have a different setup and everything. This is just a very good example. That laser is actually throwing internal energy into the area, allowing the cells of the body to increase their energy, and then you see a huge healing difference. The things that I hear on this are insane. Most people think you have to, like with healing, a lot of people are trained that we have to like beat ourselves up. This is almost the opposite. You feel like maybe it's not doing anything because a lot of times we think we have to have this physical nature to it. Some people feel it right away. Like all of a sudden you're like, holy smokes. It just a lot of times it's in attunement, like how far away, what's going on with that person. One of my favorite stories on this is a man that didn't even have to do with chiropractic. I take care of his wife, and he had a knee replacement that just would not let up the chronic inflammation around his knee replacement. And he hadn't slept in 2 months. And I said, hey, have him try this. And it was like 2 visits, and he was sleeping again, and like because the knee replacement was successful, it was just one of those things where the inflammation just was out of control and would not let up. So that's where that cold laser comes in really handy. And I think, yeah, so those are all my cool how do we approaches it. And then we have the exercises, which I didn't do too many because if you go back, this is where I tell people, remember when we talked about wrist stuff before? I want to walk you through one today, though. So I will stop the screen share. So remember on exercises, we did a whole one a while ago. So if, though, you become a subscriber on Substack, and there's even an app to it. So once you become a subscriber, you can actually go in and it basically just keeps all of my videos there. So if we do an app or you download the app of Substack, put Tribe One and subscribe there, then you have, and if you've done that already, you already have access to all of the videos, and one of them would have the exercises in there. But this is what I'm like super enthralled with this week. So what I want you to do is in all hands stuff, and I'm adding this to my, oh, I forgot that Dr. Rachel, my wife, got me the coolest bracelet. So when we went to Santa Fe, New Mexico this last time, we got to go. Rachel went to I think it was we think it's the oldest church ever built in America. It's in Santa Fe, New Mexico. And she got to actually go to mass there and everything. It was incredible. And so she went and found some cool things. This is a bracelet that actually has the rosary. So each bead is a different prayer. It's really cool. But I don't usually wear a lot of stuff, but this one's pretty cool. I really like it. So anyway, so here's the exercise. So the first one is going to be where you take your fingers and you do that. Now we showed a video on this before, but it's really been effective for myself, so I want us to do it again. So in the morning, before you even start your day, you're going to do 5 of these where it's little fists, like ninja fists, like you're doing like a karate chop that way. Okay, so it's there. Now you're going to do, so that was a quarter fist. Now you're going to do a half fist, right? So now you're doing a really thing. Keep your thumbs out, right? So you do that, and you 5 of those. And then you do a full fist where it's like you're coming down and over, down and over. You do 5 of those. And then you take your thumb and cross it. You take your thumb and cross it and try to touch your pinky on the other side. All of those. And most of you, like I feel the tightness of that every time. And that's why I'm addicted to doing it. Because I'm like, oh my gosh, this is going to be a game changer for a lot of people. So hopefully you got something out of tonight. I know it's getting night. We'll probably have a lot more people like when it starts not being nice, but it was gorgeous today again. And yeah, so and if you guys' carpal tunnel isn't improved, I'll start doing physical therapy where you come and get cucumbers from my garden, because dear Lord. And we can start a therapy session, group therapy of chopping cucumbers made for reddish. All right, that is all I have for tonight. And then I want to talk to Julie. Julie, do you have any questions for me tonight?
Yes, can you hear me now?
I can.
Yes,
Move you up.
it was a good topic because my left hand I use a lot for weeding. And then I
Oh,
got
yes.
stung in the same place where it was bothering me. So thank you for the exercises, because apparently I weed a lot, but that one hand I can tell, but it doesn't stop me. I can tell you that though.
Oh, absolutely. Well, what was crazy is I wanted to break. It was almost top of mind because I started doing that. So you know how we all have this daily routine, right? So we getting up in the morning. I started doing that, and now I'm completely addicted. It's almost like I don't want to not do it. You know, it's one of those. It's 5 minutes in the morning, and then if I start adjusting people, I'm like, whoa, that's awesome. So a story on that too. So because of the style, I'm a more physical adjuster, like Julie knows. But the one time I have this move where you have to use your fists, right? And so that over time, I've been doing it 25 years. All of a sudden, this is a true story. I got this thing called trigger finger where I couldn't move that finger. I couldn't get it beyond there. And so every time I do this bear hug, I'm like, uh-oh. And then all my fingers would come up except for this one. So I actually physically had to move it. Right. And I'd seen that before, trigger fingers. You don't know how kind of weird feeling that is. Well, what happened was I was like, I don't want to do surgery, but it's not bad enough where, so I started doing like what we talked about, the massage, the therapy, the adjustment, all those things. and I started doing my own across the actual knot. So what happens in a trigger finger? We'll have to go through that at some point. There's a knot, there's a muscle knot that gets built up, and there's a little tunnel that each of your bones needs to get through. And so this little knot, just think of like a fishing line, like if you got a knot in your fishing line, that fishing line knot gets stuck in there, and it's just scar tissue. So then it limits that ability to move back and forth. So what you can do is in nature, you can actually rub out that muscle knot, unlike a fishing line, but you can actually rub out that fishing line knot, and all of a sudden it took a while. It took because I was still using it, but it took about 3 months to really get it gone, but literally no surgery, and I have had no issues with it. And so it's really cool just to figure out things on your own, like where Julie was saying, you ain't gonna stop, but if we can like don't stop, just kind of see where you can go with it. And if we can give the right answers, it'll be really good. So that's awesome.
Yes, instead of weeding for 5 hours, you weed for maybe 2 and then take a break. That also helps.
Oh, big time. Yeah, I agree. And then, yeah,
So,
just making sure you take care of those muscles of your forearms when you're done with it. That's a big one. You know what I mean? So, yeah. You got any other questions?
no, except sign me up for your class on the 21st.
I'm excited.
I'm coming. I'll get the day
I'm so
off.
excited. I'm so excited. My Rachel and I are all pumped. She's ready to. So Rachel's going to be in the background, kind of helping put it all together. It's going to be 9 to 4. There's going to be lunch included, and
is there a charge for it?
Oh yeah, yeah. Well, there will be a charge. But my 1% tribe people get a little special.
Well, and I'm still coming no matter what you charge. And I'm assuming your lunch will be healthy lunch, right?
Mm-hmm. Yep, that's what I really want to.
I want to try your pickles.
I know. Oh yeah, we should pull out. Ooh, I wonder. Ooh, maybe we'll do that.
Yeah, I made zucchini
one of those where I'll get regular food. I'll get regular food, but I'll put off to the side, like trying different things. Because I'm telling you, I just tried, Julie. I'm a little scared because it looks very, very dark, but I think I did a beet kraut. So it's a beet and cabbage kraut, which there's a recipe. It's fascinating because of the sugary parts of the beet. I'm like, ooh, this is going to be interesting. I'm like 3 days away from I need to start videoing these or taking pictures at least.
No, so, bring that. That sounds interesting.
I know. I cannot wait to try it because my regular kraut with lemon and dill, I should have enough by then. I'll be handing out some lemon and dill kraut is what I should do.
Yes, I'll take that too because
I know we're almost there.
Destroyed my cauliflower.
Dang it!
They destroyed the cabbage.
Crazy, like the cabbage. Yeah, the cabbage did not. I think we're gonna be okay, but we almost lost them, man. Like that's tough. That is tough.
Yeah. No, we have 2 live traps now.
Oh. Well, all right, my dear. Well, I love it. I enjoyed that like crazy. So you guys have a good night, and we'll talk to you next week. See ya.